I just finished my last medical school exam of second year. I'm so excited. And then so now I'm going to start studying for step 1 again. I took a break for a little bit. I just had a period where I was feeling super unmotivated and not very energetic and very overwhelmed by all the things I wanted to do. So I hope to take you guys along for a week of me just trying to reset and get my life back together.
I'm Shanna, a Canadian medical student. Every Wednesday and Friday, I release interviews with different med students and physicians, advice videos, and videos based on viewer comments. Subscribe to not miss a chance to learn how to be the most productive and stress-free med student or applicant you can be.
So first, I'm just going to spend an hour taking half of a practice test before I hang out with my friends at 1 o'clock. We have a lunch date scheduled at 1, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm using a question bank called TrueLearn. I've never used it before, so I'll let you guys know how much I like it. I'm doing a free test. Socializing with my friends was a nice treat after our exam this morning and then doing a practical exam for step 1. But now I need to get back to some productivity. As much as it would be really fun to just work out and do absolutely nothing for the rest of the day, I can't do that. Last week where I was just feeling kind of overwhelmed and not my most productive self, and so I really want to kind of step it up. I actually want to do some more self-care and make some more boundaries and prevent burnout. Which is something I kind of struggle on and off with because I'm definitely a workaholic and I definitely can work myself into burnout really easily, but I also want to up my productivity game in terms of getting more meaningful things done instead of just doing busy work in the notebook. But right now it's super messy. I'll show you lists and lists and lists and just being crossed out and not a lot of stuff being carried over. So one thing I'm finding frustrating about doing this list, I really like crossing it out, but I think carrying over tasks is a little bit messy and confusing. It's better to type out on my to-dos, cross them out, and then print out this list, and then maybe I'll transfer the main things I want to do into this, and then I'll write something like USMLE stuff, research stuff, and then like workout, and then something else, and then kind of keep it simple in here in terms of the recurring stuff, but then in terms of like little small stuff for each project, I think it'll be easier to type it out because it's like breaking it down is just a lot faster, and I'm a much faster typer than a writer, and also my writing is pretty ugly, so I think typing will be a good time. Some general summer goals. For research, I wrote that I have a target number of papers that I want to finish up, so I don't want to make it a goal that I can't accomplish myself. So for example, saying like a number of papers accepted, that's not up to me, right? That's up to reviewers and journals and all sorts of other things. But for me, I want to say I want to have them in review or in submission somewhere, and then kind of by what timeline. And then for me, I put USMLE. I want to get through all UWorld, and then do a self-assessment and hopefully try to aim for a target score. I said I wanted to get about 20 points above my target score, so that during the exam date, if it falls a little bit, then that's okay. And then YouTube, I didn't really have a concrete goal for that, but I wanted to figure out some kind of system to make this sustainable as I'm trying to balance like school and research, and then especially if we go back to clerkship and stuff. Actually, I want to be working on trying to be more vulnerable, and I will definitely, even if I'm really stressed out or really overwhelmed or there's a lot going on, I usually will answer like, I'm okay, yeah, everything's good. And I don't really answer like, oh yeah, actually I'm stressed out, that, and so that's something I want to get better and better at. I just kind of dumped my brain out and all the things I want to do, and then for example like this particular project, and then I said I'm going to edit this, I need to make the cover letter, I need to schedule a meeting for this, and then I just thought it would be really nice, and so and just in that for every single project, just like really micro details, and then I moved it into the order that I want them done. So these two I want done in May, these two I want done in June, and I wanted to add stuff like some of the mentoring stuff I did recently. Did a little lunch and learn for my high school as an alumni, and then just talk to some really cool students. They had some really good questions that I never really thought about, and so it was cool to talk about it. And definitely whenever I get a chance to mentor or talk about medicine or answer people's questions, it helps me remember that I'm really excited to be doing what I'm doing. I think when you think about like, oh, I have to write this exam, you don't get as excited. But for example, I think the question was like, what do I like most about medicine, or why medicine? And I ended up thinking about how much I enjoy interacting with patients, how much I enjoyed the problem solving aspect of it, but mostly the patients, is what a privilege it is to be able to listen to people's stories, and how much I really enjoy that, and getting a piece of their life and getting to know something and helping them in some way. I think medicine, you often don't always get to help people. That's something, a misconception I had maybe going into medicine, that you always help or fix people, but really in medicine you're helping people help themselves, really, or give them the information and tools to make choices to help themselves. But there are some cool times that we are able to provide really cool surgeries or medications that really change people's quality of life. In terms of in ophthalmology, people are able to do a surgery that restores sight, or in orthopedics they're able to make someone walk again, and that's just ridiculously amazing to me, and I can't imagine a more fulfilling career for myself personally, matching my interests. But then in my talk I also talked about how that's not for everyone, and maybe that's not something that interests you. As extracurriculars, my advice is usually think about what kind of soft skills you want to build. So think about what will make you a good medical student or a good doctor, and like what do you want to build. And then, for example, maybe working with a population that is very different from your own, and that will help you learn something different about a different population or a different understanding, and also help you understand maybe something that you're lacking in yourself. But for me, I started thinking about CanMeds, these principles that you uphold, competencies you uphold to be a really good doctor. So some of those are medical expert, being knowledgeable and knowing what you're doing, but also things like being professional, being doing the right ethical choice, being a good communicator, being a scholar. So for that they usually mean like research, but also continuing education and staying curious and always keeping yourself up to date, being a collaborator, a good team worker, a leader, so being good at managing your teams, and a health advocate. So I just wanted to think about, in terms of how I want to spend my time, how can I develop these skills so that I can be a more ideal version of myself. As if could I work on more? I think I do want to work on being a better leader and collaborator. There's always room for improvement there. That's something that I've been working on as I'm working in the research team and taking on more of a leadership role. That's a bit new to me, that I'm trying to learn how to delegate properly but make people feel like they're being respected and they're doing something that actually interests them and match their interests. So that's something I want to work on. And health advocate, that's something I want to get more into. I definitely was really interested in doing that a lot as an undergrad, and because in med school I wasn't doing as much, and so I'd like to find more time to do that when that's possible. And I also put some other things, so I put medical school, so studying here. I put UWorld, do Anki. I want to read the Edmonton Manual. I'm going to work with one of my classmates to do some practice cases. And then I kind of want to see if there's some really interesting webinars that I can listen to and just feel more inspired by people in medicine in different paths. So that's something I want to do in terms of developing my medical student side of myself. And there's a personal, so in terms of social, scheduling one-on-one catch-ups with friends. I realize that I do enjoy group activities and stuff, but I think I'm most fulfilled when I'm doing one-on-one catch-ups as well, so that I feel like I'm really talking to people and catching up and getting to know what's going on with them. So I want to do more of those, because it's something I feel like it's hard to do when we're stuck at home. Checking in with my grandparents, scheduling more COVID volunteering time. I'm really into this new app called Notion. I've gotten all my friends into it. This is what I showed you guys before, that I made this entire list I wrote up on OneNote. I just transferred over to Notion, and what I love about Notion is that you go setting, I can make it a toggle list. So I do goals, and then when I expand it, it becomes US only studying, Edmonton, whatever. And then I can also make pages. Shared workspace that I have shared with a bunch of my friends. I decided to make some different categories. So first I made a home page. It's super cool. Like I said, it's basically like making a little website. If you've ever dreamed of making a little wiki for yourself, like I do because I'm a nerd, yeah, so I structured it like clinical skills, physical exams, internal medicine, obs gyn, psych, peds. These are like the main core rotations at my medical school. And then pictures. So for example, in admissions and daily orders, I screenshotted some things from the Edmonton manual. And there you go, I have it. And then if you go backwards, I started putting in some notes for internal med. So here I just listed out some main presentations that I really want to know how to handle that we see a lot, or I think I will see a lot, whether or not that's an emerge and family and internal. And then I want to fill these in. For example, I have nothing filled in, but for example, abnormal heart sounds, I want to be able to put in what is it presenting for aortic stenosis and regurg, and what is S2, S1, what are the huge differential for nausea and vomiting that's possible. And then what I would probably do is I would probably change each of them into I'm thinking a toggle list for now. And then I would just be able to do that. So that's so cool. I'm obsessed with this. I hope that once I figure it out, I can add more of my friends to it. I also added some other fun stuff. I added some resources. I ended up deleting them from my phone because I'm actually out of memory since I'm always filming with my phone. But I'm going to keep them here to re-download when it's time. Bullet by class too. So I added step 1, internal. I can also see I can add, obs guide randomly there. And it's just so cool. I'm obsessed. What I also am trying to do, I just opened these templates. I don't have any research planning on them, but this is what they look like. Timeline. I actually have something made like this, but on a Word doc, so I'm excited to play around with this and figure out how to do it on Notion. This was another one that I found that was kind of useful. Again, I don't know how to use it quite yet. But, so what is really cool is this inspiration. I have this clipper that I've added to my Google Chrome, and then you can just add notes. I love this. And I did engrams today with my friends, and then I sent a quiz out to everyone. You guys should totally do this, but these are my main engrams. So my number one, most dominant one, is called the helper type, and this just totally speaks to me that I really value working with people and taking care of people's needs. It's just a job that I love. This is spot on. And then my second trait is type 6. And then just for funsies, I started a drama watch list with my girl Julia. I love watching kdramas and K-pop. That's my little vice. And I like watching them together with, actually I should add with Jeremy too, because I also like watching stuff with Jeremy. I really want to watch When the Weather is Fine. I watched a few clips and it looks so cute and so calm. And we're a fan of Crash Landing like with you, which I loved, and I watched every week with Julia. It was so fun. I'm really excited to watch Dinner Mate because the second female lead is in it, and she's super funny and sassy. And then a Song Hoon, I can't pronounce it, I'm not Korean. I love him, he's such a funny actor too, so they're both main leads. And it's actually about a psychiatrist and then a YouTuber, so I'm excited. This is kind of an odd dynamic, but I am usually a sucker for these kinds of things. And I feel like this looks very similar to U World. And yeah, it's like a question, and then you get an answer and you get an explanation. And I really like the explanations. I feel like it's very thorough. And for example, this question was on membranous nephropathy, but it explains all the other similar types of nephrotic disorders. And so I really like that, because otherwise I would read it myself and search it up, and it's just a lot simpler if I have it here. So I also have Anki open, and I just have this deck just for all the questions I get wrong. I actually haven't been reviewing this deck, but I just feel like making these notes kind of helps a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.